The night on planet Xylon was darker than usual. Heavy clouds covered the twin moons, and thunder rolled across the sky like a warning from the gods. Inside the royal palace, most lights were dim. Only the silver torches along the great halls burned quietly, painting shadows on the tall white walls. Lena, a young human maid, hurried through one of those long corridors. Her soft shoes made no sound on the marble floor. She was small, with brown hair tied in a loose braid and eyes that always looked curious about everything. Humans were rare in the alien kingdom of Verith, and she had learned to stay silent and invisible. Tonight, though, something strange pulled her forward. She was carrying towels for the royal baths when she heard a low growl behind one of the locked doors. It was the door to the dragon chamber, a place every servant was warned never to enter. The sign above it said, "Only the royal blood may pass." Lena froze. The sound came again, deep, heavy breathing, like a creature dreaming inside. Then she noticed light leaking from under the door. It shimmered red and gold, like living fire. Her heart beat faster. She should have walked away. She knew that even touching this door could get her executed. But curiosity whispered louder than fear. Slowly, she set the towels on the floor and stepped closer. The handle was warm, too warm, as if someone had just used it. When she pushed it, the ancient lock clicked open with a sigh. Inside, the air shimmered with heat. A massive creature lay in the center of the chamber, its body coiled like a mountain of bronze scales. The prince's dragon, known as Zephyrax, slept with its wings folded tight. Flames flickered softly between its nostrils. Lena gasped quietly. She had seen the dragon only from far away during royal ceremonies, never this close. Its beauty was terrifying, power wrapped in living fire. Suddenly, the dragon's eyes opened. Two golden circles locked on her face. Lena froze where she stood. The dragon's chest rose and fell slowly, then a low rumble rolled from its throat. She took one step back, whispering, I am sorry. I didn't mean to." Before she could finish, Zephyrax's eyes flashed brighter. It lifted its head and growled. The heat around her thickened, she could feel it on her skin. Then, with a speed that didn't seem possible, the dragon lunged forward. A scream escaped her lips as its teeth grazed her shoulder. She fell backward, hitting the stone floor hard. Pain burned through her chest, but it wasn't blood she saw. The bite mark glowed with red light, bright and strange, pulsing like it had life. Then, just as suddenly as it had attacked, the dragon stopped moving. It stared at her, confused, almost afraid. Its glowing eyes softened, and it let out a deep, echoing sound, a sound not of anger but of recognition. Footsteps thundered in the hallway. Palace guards burst through the door, swords drawn, followed by a tall figure in royal green armor. His crown caught the torchlight, Prince Kale of Verith. "What happened here?" he demanded. His voice was sharp but controlled. Then he saw Lena on the ground, the mark glowing on her skin. The guards pointed their weapons at her. "She entered the forbidden chamber, my lord," one shouted. "The dragon attacked her." But the prince didn't answer. His blue skin turned a shade paler as he stared at the mark. He slowly walked toward her and knelt down. The glow from her wound reflected in his silver eyes. "This cannot be," he whispered. "That mark belongs only to the royal bloodline." Lena trembled. "I didn't mean to come here, my lord." The door, it was open, the light. Kale raised a hand to silence her. The dragon behind them lowered its head and made a deep, almost respectful bow toward Lena. The guards stepped back in confusion. Dragons never bowed to anyone except the royal family. Kale's gaze hardened. "No one speaks of this," he ordered. "Not a single word leaves this room." The guards bowed and left, still whispering to each other. Kale turned to Lena again. His voice softened. "Can you stand?" Lena nodded weakly. He helped her up, his gloved hand cold against her skin. "You should be dead," he murmured, studying the glowing mark. "But instead, the dragon chose you." Her eyes widened. Chose me. He nodded slowly. There is only one reason Zephyrax would bite and not burn. It means he has found a bond. But you are human. That should be impossible. Lena felt dizzy. The mark pulsed again, sending waves of warmth through her chest. She could almost hear whispers, a deep, ancient voice speaking inside her mind. It was the dragon's voice, saying words she didn't understand. Kale looked toward the dragon, who now lay calm and silent. You've changed everything, he said quietly. If my mother, the queen, learns of this, you will not survive the night. Lena swallowed hard. Then why not tell her now? Why help me? Kale hesitated, then spoke in a lower tone. Because I saw it happen once before, many years ago. A human with that mark destroyed an entire city. My mother buried the truth, but I remember the screams. He grabbed a cloak from the wall and wrapped it around her shoulders. You'll come with me. There is a place in the lower halls. No one will find you there. As they walked out of the dragon chamber, Lena glanced back. Zephyrax was watching her, eyes glowing like two suns, silent but alive with meaning. She felt the mark on her chest throb once more, in rhythm with the dragon's breath. They reached a hidden stairway leading down beneath the palace. Torches flickered as Kale unlocked a heavy iron door. Stay here, he said. Do not leave until I return. And no matter what you hear, do not open this door. Lena nodded, still shaking. Prince Kale, what is happening to me? He paused at the doorway. I don't know, he said honestly. But the mark of a dragon never appears without reason. He closed the door, leaving her in dim light. The mark glowed brighter, filling the room with red light. Then she heard it again, that same deep whisper from the dragon, now clear and sharp inside her head. You are not what they think you are. Lena pressed her hand against the glowing mark, her heart racing. Outside, thunder shook the palace again, and far away, the dragon roared into the storm. Something ancient had awakened, and nothing in the palace would ever be the same again. The palace was silent after the storm, but that silence felt heavy, unnatural. Even the wind outside seemed afraid to breathe. Beneath the shining marble towers, deep under the royal halls, a small lamp flickered inside a hidden room. There, Lena sat alone, staring at the strange red glow spreading under her skin. The mark looked like fire trapped inside her flesh, twisting, alive, and pulsing softly. She had tried covering it, washing it, even whispering to it to stop burning, but nothing worked. The warmth only grew stronger with each heartbeat. She didn't know how much time had passed when the door opened. Prince Kale stepped inside quietly, holding a silver plate with food. His royal cloak brushed the floor, his face unreadable. You're awake, he said softly. Lena nodded, her voice weak. It won't stop glowing. Kale set the plate down and looked at the mark. It won't, he replied. Not until we understand what it means. He moved to the far wall and pressed a hidden panel. A secret passage opened, revealing a narrow hallway glowing with pale blue light. Come, he said. We cannot stay here. The queen is already asking questions. Lena followed him through the secret corridor, her steps echoing softly. Why are you helping me? She asked. I'm just a servant. Kale didn't look at her. You're not just anything anymore. They entered a wide underground chamber, bright with silver machines, screens, and floating orbs of light. Scientists in gray coats looked up in surprise when Kale entered. Clear the room, Kale ordered. Within seconds, everyone left, leaving only Kale and Lena in the echoing lab. Strange energy hummed in the air. This is the science wing, Kale said, turning toward her. Only a few people in the kingdom know it exists. We study ancient powers, and what happens when they return. He guided her to a glowing table. Sit here. Lena hesitated. Will it hurt? Kale's eyes softened. I don't know, but I'll stop it if it does. The table came alive with light as she sat. A scanner hovered over her chest, reading the strange pattern of the mark. Kale watched the data scroll across a holographic screen, his sharp alien eyes narrowing. Then he froze. "What is it?" Lena asked, nervous. Kale turned toward her slowly. "Your DNA. It's not completely human." Lena blinked. "What do you mean?" "You carry fragments of our royal blood," Kale said. "The dragon didn't attack you because it recognized you. It thought you were one of us." She stared at him in shock. "That's not possible. I was born on Earth." Kale shook his head. "Not everything from Earth stays there." Before Lena could reply, a loud alarm blared through the lab. Red lights flashed. Kale's communicator buzzed, and a robotic voice echoed. "Security breach in the lower wing. The Queen is approaching." Kale cursed under his breath. "She's found you faster than I thought." He pulled Lena to her feet. "You must leave now." "But where will I go?" Kale looked at her, really looked as if memorizing her face. "I'll buy you time. There's an escape tunnel behind the lab. Follow the blue lights, they'll lead you to the outer market. Hide there until I find you." Lena hesitated. "If your mother catches you." "She won't," he said sharply. Then softer. "She can't know you're alive." He opened the tunnel door, but before she could move, a cold voice echoed behind them. "She already knows." Lena turned. The Queen stood at the lab entrance, tall and terrifying in her black and silver robes. Her eyes glowed faintly blue, the color of the royal bloodline. "Mother," Kale said carefully. "This is not what it looks like." The Queen smiled coldly. "It looks like betrayal, my son." Two armored guards stepped into the room, their weapons humming with energy. Lena backed away, heart racing. The Queen's gaze fell on her, sharp and cruel. "So this is the creature my dragon chose. How amusing." "She's innocent," Kale said. "Innocent." The Queen laughed softly. "Do you even understand what that mark means, Kale? It means she carries the ancient code, the one that almost destroyed our world 1,000 years ago." Kale frowned. "That's just a myth." "Is it?" The Queen raised a hand, and one of the screens came to life, showing an old hologram. Cities burning, dragons screaming, humans and aliens locked in war. The last time a human carried the dragon's flame, millions died. She stepped closer to Lena, studying her like a scientist studies a strange creature. "We cannot allow history to repeat." Kale moved between them. "If you touch her, You'll what?" The Queen's voice turned cold as ice. "You'll fight your own blood for a servant?" Kale's jaw tightened. "For her, yes." For a moment, the room fell silent. Even the machines seemed to stop humming. Then the Queen sighed. "You always were too much like your father." She snapped her fingers. The guards raised their weapons. "Take the girl. Kill the dragon if you must. I'll deal with my son later." Before they could move, Kale drew his plasma blade, blue energy crackling in the air. "Run!" he shouted. Lena turned and dashed into the tunnel. Behind her, light flared as Kale fought the guards, blades clashing, sparks flying. The sound of battle echoed down the passage. She ran as fast as she could, the mark on her chest burning brighter, guiding her through the dark. The tunnel twisted and turned until it opened into the outer city, a place full of neon lights, flying ships and endless noise. She stumbled into an alley, breathing hard. For the first time, she was outside the palace walls. But even in the crowded streets, she felt eyes on her. A shadow moved above, a black drone scanning the area. It paused when it saw the faint red glow under her collar. Then it spoke in a robotic voice, cold and calm. "Target located. The human carries the flame. Prepare extraction." Lena froze. From somewhere far above, the sky opened with a flash of red light, not lightning, but something worse. A massive shape descended through the clouds, blocking out the stars. She looked up and whispered, terrified, "That's not from this planet." High above, a fleet of alien ships hovered silently, their lights reflecting off the city towers. The mark on her chest pulsed faster, brighter, like it recognized them. And far away, deep inside the palace, Kale watched the same sky and whispered, "They've found her, the ancient blood has returned." The twin suns of planet Xylan rose behind a curtain of smoke. The once bright sky now glowed red, painted by the shadows of massive alien ships floating above the capital. The invasion had begun quietly. No bombs, no explosions, just silence, and the strange humming of engines that sounded older than time itself. Inside the royal palace, tension hung in the air like a living thing. Soldiers ran through golden corridors, their boots striking the marble floors in rhythm. Every corner, every hall, was filled with whispers. They weren't searching for treasure. They were searching for her, the human girl who carried the dragon's mark. Prince Kale stood in front of the central command screen. His armor was scratched from the last night's fight, his blue face marked by exhaustion. Behind him, holograms of the alien fleet flickered in red light. "Still no sign of her?" he asked his commander. "None, my lord," the officer replied nervously. "The Queen's hunters are sweeping the city. She won't last long on her own." Kale's eyes hardened. "She's not on her own. Not while I'm breathing." He turned away before the officer could speak. Outside, thunder rumbled again, though there were no clouds this time, only ships moving through the sky like silent predators. Kale knew those ships. He had seen them in the old records, the same fleet that nearly destroyed his world long ago. The ancient blood, the forgotten race that once ruled the stars. And now they had returned for Lena. Far below the palace, Lena moved carefully through the crowded streets of the lower city. The mark on her chest was hidden under her cloak, but its warmth never faded. She could feel it guiding her, pulsing faster whenever danger drew near. She passed neon signs, alien vendors, and broken droids that sparked with weak light. The air smelled of smoke and metal. Around her, people whispered rumors about the ships in the sky. "Did you see it?" someone said. "They say the Queen made a deal with them." "No, I heard they came for a weapon." Lena kept walking, eyes down, until she turned a corner and saw a large holographic banner across a wall. It showed her face. Beneath it, glowing words read, "Wanted, the human with the mark of fire. Reward, 100,000 credits." Her stomach dropped. Panic tightened her chest. She pulled her hood lower and hurried away. But she wasn't fast enough. A voice spoke behind her. "You look lost, human." She turned. A tall alien in dark armor stood blocking her path. His eyes glowed faint green, and a scar ran down his neck. Behind him, 2 more soldiers appeared. Lena stepped back slowly. "Please, I don't want trouble." "Oh, but trouble already found you," the alien said with a grin. "The Queen wants you alive. The fleet wants you dead. Either way, we get paid." He raised his weapon, a plasma rod glowing blue. Before he could strike, a loud roar shook the street. Windows shattered. People screamed and ran. A shadow passed overhead, wide, fast, alive. The dragon. Zephyrax. Lena looked up as the orange-scaled beast swept down through the smoke, wings slicing the air. It landed between her and the soldiers, flames curling from its mouth. The aliens froze. Zephyrax roared again, a sound that made the ground tremble. Its eyes glowed like molten gold. For a moment, everything went silent. Then the dragon unleashed a burst of fire that lit the street in blinding light. When the smoke cleared, the soldiers were gone. Only ashes and metal remained. Lena stood frozen. "You came for me," she whispered. The dragon lowered its head. Through the burning air, a voice echoed inside her mind, deep, ancient, and calm. "The bond cannot be broken, child of flame." She blinked. "You can speak to me?" "We are one now," the dragon said, "through fire and blood." The mark on her chest glowed brightly, pulsing in time with the dragon's breath. She could feel its thoughts, its memories, flashes of old wars, burning cities, humans standing beside dragons as equals. It was too much, too fast. I can't, she gasped, falling to her knees. The dragon leaned closer, its eyes softening. You must remember, Lena. The bloodline of fire was hidden inside your kind. You were never meant to be a servant. Before she could ask more, a sound cut through the air, energy blasts. Soldiers had returned, dozens of them, firing from the rooftops. Zephyrax roared and took flight, flames circling its body. It grabbed Lena gently in one claw and launched into the sky. The city blurred below them, lights, towers, chaos. Wind tore through her hair as she looked down at the burning palace far away. But the dragon wasn't flying toward the palace. It was flying beyond it, toward the mountains that shone silver under the morning sun. Back in the palace, the queen watched from her throne, eyes narrow. The dragon has chosen the girl, she said to her advisor. That means the prophecy is true. The advisor bowed. Shall we send the fleet after them, my queen? She smiled faintly. No. Let her think she's free. The mark will guide her to what we need, the flame core. When she finds it, we strike. High in the sky, Lena held onto the dragon's claw as they flew between glowing clouds. She felt the wind, the freedom, and the fear all at once. Where are we going? She shouted over the storm. To the mountains of Arith, Zephyrax replied in her mind. There lies the temple of the first fire, the truth your prince does not yet know. Prince Kale, she asked. Is he alive? The dragon's voice rumbled like thunder. He fights for you. But the queen's hunters move fast. If he falls, the palace will burn again. Her heart tightened. She thought of Kale's face, how he had risked everything to save her. She couldn't let him die because of her. I have to go back, she said. No, the dragon warned. You go back now, you die. Lena closed her eyes, the mark on her chest burning brighter. Then teach me, she whispered. Teach me how to fight. There was a long pause. Then, slowly, the dragon nodded. So be it. But remember, child, fire does not serve. Fire consumes. Far behind them, in the dark corridors of the palace, Kale limped through the wreckage. His sword was broken, his armor cracked, but his resolve burned brighter than ever. He stopped before a wall of old symbols, the same ones he had seen in secret records. Among them, he found an image that froze his blood, a human woman standing beside a dragon, with the same glowing mark on her chest. He touched the symbol. The wall shifted, revealing a hidden chamber filled with old relics and a glowing stone. On it were written the same words he had once read in forbidden texts. When the flame returns, the sky will fall. Kale whispered to himself. Lena, what are you? As he turned to leave, a voice came from behind, cold and familiar. You're asking the wrong question, my son, said the queen, stepping from the shadows. You should be asking, what will she become? The mountains of Arith rose like silver knives against the sky. Their peaks glowed with morning light, while thick mist coiled around the lower cliffs. Zephyrax, the orange dragon, sliced through the clouds, carrying Lena high above the world. The air was thin, cold, and wild. Beneath them, the alien city of Verith shrank into a patch of smoke and metal. The palace towers were only pale dots now, but Lena's mind still echoed with Kale's voice. Run before she finds you. She didn't want to run. She wanted answers. When the dragon finally landed on a narrow ledge, Lena's legs shook as she climbed down. The mountain air smelled of frost and ancient stone. Around them were pillars carved with strange runes that glowed faintly red, as if the mountain itself breathed fire. What is this place? She asked. Zephyrax's voice spoke in her mind, deep and echoing. The temple of first fire. The dragons were born here, before your kind learned to speak. Lena looked around. The temple entrance was shaped like a great mouth of stone, flames carved along the arch inside, darkness pulsed with hidden heat. The mark on her chest began to glow again. It's reacting, she whispered. It calls to the flame inside, said the dragon. Step forward, and it will answer. Lena hesitated, but curiosity pulled her ahead. She entered the temple, the sound of her footsteps echoing off the smooth rock. The further she went, the brighter the walls became, until golden light danced across her face. At the center of the chamber stood a pool of liquid fire. It moved like water but shone like the sun. Symbols floated above it, shifting slowly. Zephyrax lowered his head beside her. The flame recognizes you. Touch it, and the truth will awaken. Lena reached out a trembling hand. The surface rippled when her fingers brushed it, and suddenly the world shattered. She saw flashes, memories not her own. A human woman with eyes of gold standing beside a dragon twice Zephyrax's size. Alien soldiers kneeling before her. Fire raining from the sky. Then the woman screamed as the world exploded in light. Lena gasped and pulled her hand back. She fell to her knees, breathing hard. "What was that?" she whispered. "The past," Zephyrax said quietly. "The first bearer of the flame. She tried to unite our races, but power consumed her. Her death ended the age of dragons." Lena looked at her glowing mark. "Why me? I'm not strong. I'm not special." "The flame chooses hearts, not bloodlines," the dragon replied. "But the queen believes she can control it again. That is why she hunts you." Lena felt the weight of his words. Somewhere deep inside, she already knew, this wasn't just about her. The fate of both humans and aliens now hung on whatever the mark meant. Before she could speak again, Zephyrax raised his head sharply. His pupils narrowed. "They are coming." A low rumble filled the mountain. Outside, engines howled as ships broke through the clouds. Red lights blinked across the sky. "The Queen's hunters?" Lena asked. "Worse," the dragon growled. "The ancient blood." Far below, Prince Kale guided a small fighter ship through the same storm. He had escaped the palace with the help of a loyal guard and a stolen code key. His armor was cracked, but his determination was steel. Through the cockpit window, he could see the fleet approaching the mountains. "Lena, hold on," he muttered. "I'm coming." The radio hissed, and a distorted voice spoke. "Prince Kale, you are ordered to stand down. Return to the palace, or face termination." He shut it off. "Not today." He pushed the throttle forward, and the ship dove into the clouds. Back at the temple, explosions shook the rocks. The entrance burst open as armored troops stormed inside, their helmets shining like mirrors. "By order of the ancient council, surrender the bearer of flame," their commander shouted. Lena stepped back, fear rising in her throat. Zephyrax spread his wings, blocking her. "Stand behind me." But one of the soldiers fired. The plasma blast hit the dragon's side, sending sparks through the air. Zephyrax roared in pain. "No!" Lena screamed. Without thinking, she raised her hand. The mark on her chest blazed white-hot. Fire spiraled out from her palm, striking the soldiers. The blast threw them backward like leaves in a storm. The flames moved not wildly, but with purpose, as if alive, bending to her will. When it ended, smoke filled the chamber. The soldiers lay unconscious, their armor melted. Lena stared at her hand, shaking. "What did I just do?" Zephyrax's voice was calm but proud. "You called the dragon's flame. You are no longer just a servant, Lena. You are bonded." The mark faded slightly, its warmth settling inside her chest. She felt stronger, but also scared. The power was too much, like holding lightning inside her heart. Then the sound of another engine thundered outside. Kale's ship landed hard on the rocks, wings folding as the hatch opened. He rushed inside, sword drawn, scanning the damage. When his eyes met Lena's, relief flooded his face. "You're alive," he said, breathless. "You came," she replied. "Of course I came," he said. "You think I'd let my mother's soldiers take you?" Zephyrax lowered his head to greet him. Kale blinked in surprise. "He bows to you now?" Lena nodded slowly. "He says we're bonded." Kale gave a small smile. "Then maybe there's still hope." But before they could speak further, The ground trembled again. Outside, one of the massive alien ships hovered above the mountain, its red beam locking onto the temple. "They found us," Kale said. Zephyrax spread his wings. "Then we fly." The dragon roared, launching into the air. Kale grabbed Lena's hand and jumped onto Zephyrax's back. The temple crumbled below them as the beam fired, turning stone to dust. They soared through the smoke, chased by smaller ships firing energy bolts. Kale shouted directions while Lena clung tightly, the mark glowing through her cloak. "Can you stop them?" Kale yelled. "I don't know how." "Feel the flame," Zephyrax's voice thundered. "Let it guide you." Lena closed her eyes. The world fell silent for a heartbeat. Then she felt it, the pulse of the dragon's heart, matching hers. She raised her hands, and streams of fire shot from the dragon's wings, striking the enemy ships. One by one, they burst into light. When the last ship exploded, the sky cleared. They flew through golden sunlight, free again, for now. Kale looked at her in awe. "You just took down a battle squadron." Lena breathed hard, eyes wide. "I didn't even know what I was doing." Zephyrax's voice rumbled with pride. "The bond grows. But so does the danger." As they disappeared into the clouds, Kale glanced back at the distant palace. "My mother won't stop. She wants the flame core for herself." "And the ancient blood?" Lena asked. "They want to awaken it," he said darkly. "To burn every world that refused to kneel." Lena looked ahead at the endless sky. The flame mark glowed once more, soft but steady. "Then we stop them," she said. Kale nodded. "Together." The dragon roared, and the horizon burned with light as they vanished into the sunrise. The wind howled over the endless desert of Jarin, turning the golden sand into shifting waves. Zephyrax glided low, his orange wings cutting through the heat. On his back sat Lena and Prince Kale, their faces half covered against the storm. They had been flying for hours since escaping the Queen's army. The mountain behind them was gone, destroyed by the beam. Every roar of thunder still reminded Lena of the fire she had unleashed. She looked down at her hands. They still glowed faintly. "It's quiet now," she murmured. "Too quiet." Kale nodded. "That's what worries me." The dragon's deep voice echoed in their minds. "We are near the city of Ashvale. It lies buried under the sand. The last humans once lived there." "Humans?" Lena's eyes widened. "I thought I was the only one left." "Perhaps not," Zephyrax said. "The flame may not have chosen only you." Kale frowned. "We'll find shelter there. Then we decide our next move." The dragon swooped lower, stirring the dunes. In the distance, the outline of ancient ruins appeared, broken towers half swallowed by the desert, their metal bones glinting in the sun. When they landed, the air shimmered with heat. The silence was heavy, too perfect, as if the city held its breath. Lena jumped down and brushed sand off her cloak. "It looks dead." "Dead things can still hide secrets," Kale replied, his hand resting on his sword. They walked through the ruins. Shattered glass crunched under their boots. Strange symbols were painted on the walls, faded with time. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Finally, they entered a vast hall where broken statues stood around a circular floor. In the center was a single metallic pod, still glowing faintly blue. Zephyrax's eyes narrowed. "This is human technology. Very old." Kale stepped closer. "What do you think's inside?" Lena knelt beside the pod. Her fingers hovered over the control panel. "It's still active." Before Kale could stop her, she pressed a button. The pod hissed. Steam spilled out. And then, a hand emerged. A woman stepped out slowly, her eyes glowing gold in the dim light. Her face, Lena froze, was identical to hers. Kale drew his weapon instantly. "What trick is this?" Lena couldn't speak. She was staring at herself. The other woman smiled faintly. "So, the flame still burns," she said softly. Her voice carried both warmth and danger. Who are you? Lena asked, her heart pounding. I am you, the woman said. Or what you were meant to become. Zephyrax let out a low growl. Impossible. The bearer of the first flame died ages ago. The woman turned her golden gaze toward him. Did I? Or did I sleep, waiting for someone to awaken me? Lena stepped back, her mark burning. You're the woman I saw in the vision. Yes, the other replied. They called me Seraphine, the flame-born queen. Kale frowned. You destroyed the old worlds. Seraphine's expression darkened. I tried to save them. The aliens betrayed us, took our fire, enslaved humanity. I fought back, but the flame consumed me. Lena shook her head. You used it to kill millions. Seraphine's tone softened. Wouldn't you, if they stole everything from you? Kale raised his sword. We're not your enemies. Seraphine smiled sadly. No, but the one you trust is. Lena blinked. What do you mean? The air shimmered. From the shadows behind them, a figure stepped forward, one Lena never expected to see again. The queen. Her silver robes floated around her like mist. Her crown glowed with dark red light. Behind her, soldiers spread across the hall, weapons raised. Kale froze. Mother! The queen's eyes were cold. So this is where the flame hid itself. She looked at Lena. And you brought it straight to me. Lena's chest tightened. You were tracking us. The queen smiled. Did you really think your dragon could hide your energy signature? I've been watching since you left the palace. Zephyrax spread his wings, ready to fight. You will not touch her. But the queen raised her hand, and energy chains burst from her palm, wrapping around the dragon. He roared in pain, crashing to the ground. Stop! Lena cried, running toward him. But Seraphine caught her arm. Do not move, Seraphine said quietly. This is what she wants. The queen's eyes flicked to Seraphine. So the legend lives. The first bearer. How poetic. You betrayed us, Seraphine said. You promised peace. Then you burned our cities. And yet, the queen replied, your flame now belongs to me. She turned her gaze back to Lena. You are the key, child. With your bond, I can awaken the flame core, the power to rule every world. Lena's heart pounded. I'll never help you. The queen laughed softly. You won't have a choice. She raised her hand again. Red light wrapped around Lena's mark, pulling energy from her chest. Pain shot through her body as the flame tried to resist. Kale ran forward, shouting, Mother, stop! The queen ignored him. When the flame fuses with my crown, nothing will stop me. Suddenly, Seraphine moved, her hands blazing with golden fire. She hurled a blast at the queen, breaking the energy chain. Zephyrax roared, freed again. The explosion shook the hall. Dust and flames swirled. Kale pulled Lena behind a fallen pillar. Are you okay? She nodded weakly. We have to stop her. Through the smoke, they saw Seraphine and the queen facing each other. Two forces of fire and darkness colliding. The ground cracked. Statues fell. Energy tore through the ruins. You can't win, the queen hissed. Neither can you, Seraphine replied. Because she pointed at Lena, is stronger than both of us. Before Lena could react, Seraphine raised her hand and sent a wave of light toward her. It hit Lena's chest, merging with the mark. Power flooded her veins, burning and bright. What did you do? Lena gasped. I gave you what I no longer can control, Seraphine said, her voice fading. Now run. Zephyrax swooped in, wings wide. Kale helped Lena climb on his back as explosions shook the ceiling. The queen shouted after them, her voice echoing through the collapsing hall. You can't escape destiny, girl. The flame is mine. Zephyrax burst through the roof, carrying them into the open sky. Behind them, the ruins of Ashvale crumbled into dust, swallowed by light and fire. For a long time, no one spoke. The desert wind howled beneath them, carrying the scent of smoke and ashes. Finally, Cale said quietly, "Who was she, really?" Lena looked at the horizon, her eyes glowing faintly gold. "The past," she said. "And maybe, my future." Zephyrax's voice rumbled in their minds. "The flame has changed you. You carry both her power and her memories." Lena's hand trembled, but her voice was steady. "Then we finish what she couldn't." Cale nodded, his expression grim. "We'll have to face the Queen again. And this time, she'll be ready." Lena looked at the stars ahead, the mark on her chest burning brighter than ever. "So will I." Night had fallen across the burning desert. The moon hung low, glowing like molten glass through the drifting smoke. Zephyrax rested on a rocky ledge, his chest rising and falling with slow, deep breaths. Beside him, Lena sat wrapped in a torn cloak, staring into a small fire. Her face was pale, and her golden mark flickered weakly under the light. Prince Cale sat a short distance away, silent, his armor dusty and his eyes dark. No one spoke for a long time. The sound of crackling fire filled the air. Finally, Lena whispered, "She said you can't escape destiny. Do you think she's right?" Cale looked into the flames. "Destiny is just another chain people use to control others. I don't believe in it." Zephyrax's deep voice rumbled softly. "And yet the flame chose you both. That is no accident." Cale sighed. "I didn't ask for this." Lena gave a small, tired smile. "Neither did I." The dragon lifted his head, watching the distant horizon. "Rest now. The Queen will not stop hunting you. We leave before sunrise." Lena nodded and lay down beside the fire, her eyes slowly closing. But Cale didn't sleep. He watched her, his mind spinning with questions that had no answers. The mark on her chest glowed faintly, pulsing in rhythm with her breath. It was beautiful and dangerous. Hours later, while the others slept, Cale stood and walked a few steps away. He opened the calm crystal hidden in his belt. It flickered to life with a faint red light. A familiar voice whispered through static, "My son, you survived." Cale's heart tightened. "Mother." The Queen's tone was calm and cold. "You can still fix this. Bring the girl to me. The flame is killing her slowly. You know it." "That's not true," Cale said. "She's stronger than ever." The Queen chuckled softly. "You've seen the signs. Her energy is unstable. The longer she carries the flame, the more it will consume her. If she burns out, the bond will die, and so will your dragon." Cale clenched his fist. "You're lying." "Am I?" the Queen asked. "Ask your precious dragon what happened to the last bearer." The line went silent. The red light faded. Cale stood frozen, the wind blowing sand around him. He wanted to ignore her, but deep inside, fear whispered that she might be right. By morning, the sky burned orange. They flew east toward the ocean of Tarvos, where the Queen's reach was weakest. The flight was long and quiet. The desert turned into black cliffs and green plains. Below them, rivers shimmered like silver snakes. Lena sat behind Cale, her arms around his waist. She could feel the tension in him, his body stiff, his breathing sharp. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. "I'm fine," he said without turning. But she could tell he wasn't. When they landed near the cliffs to rest, Lena confronted him. "You've been quiet all day. What's wrong?" Cale looked away. "Nothing. Don't lie to me." He hesitated. "The flame, does it hurt?" She frowned. "Sometimes." "Why?" He exhaled slowly. "My mother said it's killing you. That the last bearer, Seraphine, died because of it." Lena's face tightened. "And you believe her?" "I don't know what to believe," Cale said quietly. "But if she's right." Lena took a step closer. "If she's right, what?" You'd hand me over to her. Kale didn't answer. His silence said enough. Lena's voice broke. After everything. After she tried to kill us both. I'm trying to save you. Kale shouted suddenly. His voice echoed through the cliffs. You think I want to hurt you? You don't understand what that power is doing to you. Zephyrax's head lifted, his eyes glowing. Careful, Prince. Fear makes traitors of good men. Kale glared at the dragon. And what would you do if the flame turns on her? If she loses control again and burns everything in her path? Lena stared at him, hurt in her eyes. You think I'll become like her, like Seraphine? Kale's voice softened. I think you might not have a choice. The air between them crackled with tension. Lena turned away, her heart heavy. Then maybe you should go. Kale took a step forward. Lena. But she raised her hand. The flame mark flared bright gold. A ring of fire spread across the ground, forcing him back. I trusted you, she said quietly. Even when you didn't trust yourself. But if you ever doubt me again, stay out of my way. She climbed onto Zephyrax's back. The dragon's wings unfurled. Kale stood frozen as they lifted into the sky, leaving him behind on the cliff. Hours passed. The sun sank behind the horizon. Kale remained alone until darkness covered the world. Then, from the shadows, a small drone landed beside him. It projected a hologram, his mother's face. So, the queen said softly. She's gone. Kale's jaw tightened. You win, mother. I lost her. The queen smiled. You haven't lost her, my son. She will return, because she'll need you. The flame always burns too bright. Her image flickered and vanished. Kale looked at the empty sky. A storm brewed far away, glowing with fire. He clenched his sword. No, mother, he whispered. This time, I'll stop you myself. Far ahead, Lena and Zephyrax soared through the night. The sea of Tarvos stretched endlessly below them, waves glimmering under the stars. Lena's heart ached, her mind full of Kale's words. Was he right? She wondered. Is the flame really killing me? Zephyrax's voice broke her thoughts. Do not let doubt poison your heart. The flame feeds on emotion. Control it, or it will control you. She nodded slowly. I just don't know who to trust anymore. Trust yourself, the dragon said. The bond between us is real. But the fire inside you, its origin is not complete. There is still something missing. Missing? Yes, he rumbled. The flame core. The heart of all dragonfire. Without it, your bond will always be unstable. Lena frowned. Where is it? Zephyrax's voice lowered. In the heart of the queen's citadel. Lena felt the heat rise in her chest. Then that's where we're going. The dragon's wings spread wider as lightning flashed on the horizon. Then prepare yourself, Zephyrax said. For what waits there is not the queen's army, but something older. Something that remembers you. Lena's eyes glowed gold as thunder cracked across the sky. Let it remember, she said. Because this time, I'm not running. The rain fell hard over the black towers of the royal citadel. Lightning flashed across the sky, revealing tall spires and glowing walls. The storm seemed alive, like the city itself was angry. Inside, Queen Valera stood before the great mirror of obsidian, her reflection warping in the dark surface. Her crown pulsed with crimson light, feeding from the storm outside. Behind her, a shadow moved. My queen, said the High Inquisitor, bowing deeply. Our trackers found traces of the flame again. The girl heads for the Sea of Tarvos. The queen's lips curved into a thin smile. Good. Let her come. She seeks the flame core, but she doesn't know what it really is. And your son. Her eyes flickered. Prince Kale is no longer my concern. He will find his truth soon enough. She turned back to the mirror. Within its dark depths, a faint figure flickered, something ancient, unseen, whispering in a language older than stars. The queen closed her eyes. "Soon," she whispered, "the core will awaken. And with it, eternity." Far from the citadel, Kale rode a desert glider across the cliffs. His armor was cracked, his face pale, but his eyes were sharp. The wind whipped against him as lightning flashed in the distance. He replayed his mother's words in his head. "The flame is killing her." But there was something else that haunted him, the way she said it. Calm. Certain. Almost proud. He clenched his fists. "What did you do, Mother?" The glider beeped as it neared the canyon of the Forgotten Vaults, an ancient place sealed since the First Flame War. Few dared to enter, but Kale had no choice. He needed answers. At the canyon's edge, he dismounted and entered through a broken gate. The air was thick with dust and whispers. Carvings of dragons and alien kings lined the walls. He followed the tunnel down until he reached a massive chamber lit by blue fire. In the center stood a stasis crystal. Inside it, a sleeping figure. Kale stepped closer. His breath caught. It was a child. A human child, with golden eyes and a faint flame mark glowing on her chest. Then, a voice echoed behind him. "I see you found her." Kale turned sharply. His mother stood there, surrounded by royal guards. Rain dripped from her armor. He raised his weapon. "What is this? What did you do?" The queen walked forward slowly, her expression unreadable. "That child is you, Kale." He froze. "That's impossible." "No," she said softly. "That is what you were, before I saved you." Kale's pulse raced. "Saved me? From what?" The queen raised her hand. The crystal flickered, showing images of war, dragons burning cities, humans and aliens killing each other, a figure of golden fire destroying everything. "That war ended when Seraphine, the first bearer, died," the queen said. "But her flame didn't vanish. It found a host, an unborn human child. The last survivor of her bloodline." Kale's chest tightened. "You mean?" "Yes," she whispered. "You carry her fire, Kale. You are not my son by birth. You are the flame's vessel." He stepped back, shaking his head. "No. You're lying." "Am I?" she said calmly. "Why do you think the flame reacts to you as it does? Why could you bond with dragons at birth? You were never mine, Kale. You belonged to the fire long before I found you." The room spun around him. Memories flooded back, dreams of fire, voices calling his name in the dark, the way Lena's mark always pulsed when he touched it. "Then why raise me as your son?" he demanded. "Because I needed control," the queen said. "If the flame rose again, I needed someone close to stop it, or to use it." Kale's voice broke. "You used me." Her gaze softened for the first time. "I protected you. You were dying when I found you. I gave you life. I made you a prince. You owe me everything." He stared at her in silence, pain and fury burning in his chest. Finally he said, "If I'm not your son, then I owe you nothing." The queen's eyes darkened. "Then you are my enemy." Energy crackled in the air as she raised her hand. Kale's sword ignited with blue fire. Lightning flashed, and they clashed. The queen's power struck like thunder, each blow shaking the chamber. Kale fought back with everything he had, his blade slicing through her energy waves. Sparks flew across the stone walls. "You can't kill me," she hissed. "The flame won't let you." Kale gritted his teeth. "I don't have to kill you. I just have to stop you." He struck hard, shattering the crystal beside them. The sleeping child inside dissolved into light, rushing into Kale's body. Power exploded through him, gold and blue fire merging into one. The queen fell back, her crown cracking. No. This wasn't supposed to happen. Kale stood surrounded by light. His eyes glowed gold, his armor burning with flame patterns. "You wanted the flame, Mother. Now face it." He swung his sword, unleashing a wave of pure fire. The chamber walls shattered, and the queen was thrown into the shadows. When the light faded, Cale collapsed to his knees, breathing hard. The energy inside him hummed like a living heart. Then, faintly, a voice whispered in his mind, soft, familiar. "Cale, can you hear me?" He froze. "Lena, I can feel you," she said. "Something's changed." He smiled weakly. "You're not the only one who carries the flame anymore." Her voice trembled. "Then our bond is stronger." Cale looked toward the sky where the citadel loomed in the distance. "We'll need it. The queen's not done yet." As he walked toward the surface, the storm cleared slightly, revealing a faint sunrise over the horizon. But behind it, something darker moved, a ripple of red light deep beneath the citadel. Inside her throne chamber, the queen stood weak but alive. Her cracked crown glowed faintly as she whispered to the dark mirror. "It's done. The flame twins are born." From the mirror, a voice older than time replied. "Then the core shall awaken, and the world shall burn once more." The queen smiled faintly. "Let it burn. From the ashes, I will rise eternal." Lightning struck the palace spire as her laughter echoed through the storm.